The Bible is a book that has one story, and that story is the story of Jesus, the Son of God. But it all begins in the beginning, which is what the word Genesis means, beginning. And in the very first book of Genesis, it says that in the beginning, God created man in his own image. And they walked and talked together in the garden. But along came the serpent, and man fell into sin and was separated from God. But God had a plan that one day he would send Jesus. Jesus is the Son of God. He came from heaven to earth. He lived a perfect life. He died on the cross to pay for my sin. He was buried, and the third day he rose, and he's in heaven now, preparing a place for me and you. Preparing a place for me and you. You got it? Now let me do it a little faster. Ready? This is called the metanarrative, the little story of the whole Bible, and it's all about Jesus. In the beginning, God created man in his own image. See how you're going together? Both hands look the same. We're made in the image of God. And man walked and talked together with God. See them walking together with God in the Garden of Eden. When along came the serpent, wiggle your hand, make it look like a snake, and man fell into sin, and man was separated from God. But God had a plan that one day he would send his son Jesus. Now, who is Jesus? Jesus, got your arms out like the cross, is the Son of God. He came from heaven. Do your hands like this, like you're keeping a balloon up, to earth. Make a big circle. He lived a perfect life. Thumbs up, perfect life. Jesus never disobeyed the law, ever. He lived a perfect life. And then he died on the cross. And wiggle your fingers like it's money to pay for our sin. To pay for our sin. That's why you wiggle your fingers. Then he was buried. Look dead. But on the, what day? Third day. Everybody hold up. On the third day he rose. And again, keep a balloon up, and he's in heaven now. And what's he doing? What's Jesus doing? The Bible says he's preparing a place for me and you. Preparing a place for me and you. Now that you have the metanarrative, let's just assume one day that you want to tell somebody about Jesus. So let's just do the second part. They say, who is Jesus, Miss Jackie? And you say, Jesus is the Son of God. He came from heaven to earth, big circle, lived a perfect life, died on the cross to pay for my sin. He was buried, but on the third day he rose. And he's in heaven now, preparing a place for me and you. Now, watch this. This is cool. There are two ways to go to heaven. The first way is you have to be perfect. Got your thumb up? I'm not perfect. How about you? Well, that's a problem because we all know that no one is perfect. So let's look at the other way to go to heaven, and that is to believe that Jesus is the Son of God. One hand. He came from heaven to the earth. He lived a perfect life. See the one hand? Now make a little cross with your thumb and your pointer. He died on the cross to pay money. He paid with his perfect blood to pay for our sin. He was buried. Bury your thumb. He was buried. He's buried. But, good news, on the third day, 1, 2, 3, he rose. And he's in heaven now. What's he doing? Get the other hand out. Preparing a place for me and you. Preparing a place for me and And that's the gospel.